There's a reason people reach for books when they are overwhelmed in ways they cannot explain. It is not always intellectual, but it is often physical. Something about attention, pacing, and the way the mind is held while reading tends to shift internal state in a noticeable way. Just enough to be felt. Bibliotherapy becomes relevant here, but not in the way it is usually presented in wellness spaces. Not as emotional cure, not as optimization, more as observation of what already happens when reading is sustained for even a short period of time. There's research, for example, that suggests reading can reduce stress levels in a measurable way over a relatively short span of time. Studies from places like the University of Sussex have often been cited in this context, showing that reading can lower stress responses more effectively than some other common forms of relaxation activity. The exact percentage varies depending on methodology, but the broader point is consistent across multiple findings. Reading affects physiological arousal. That part is not really controversial in the research literature. But what is often missing is how exactly is it doing the work? Because it is not just reading in a generic sense, it is what reading requires from attention. When you read, attention is held in a structured but non-demanding way. You're following a sequence of language that is already organized. You're not generating it in real time. You're not making constant decisions about direction or output. That reduction in decision load matters more than it is actually given credit for, especially in states where the nervous system is already overactivated. There's also something about pacing that is unique to reading. It is self-regulated without being self-directed in an effortful way. You can slow down, you can pause, you can reread a paragraph, and none of that breaks the structure of the activity. In many other forms of media consumption, pausing creates disruption. In reading, it is part of the system. That matters because it allows attention to oscillate between engagement and rest without exiting the activity entirely. Bibliotherapy, when it is grounded properly, pays attention to this structure rather than abstract emotional claims about books being comforting. Comfort is not a precise category here. Regulation is closer, not in a clinical sense only, but in the sense of stabilizing attention long enough for internal intensity to reduce slightly. There is also an interesting shift that happens when attention is absorbed into a narrative structure. The mind stops scanning for multiple possible inputs at once. It narrows, not in a restrictive way, but in a focusing way. That narrowing reduces cognitive fragmentation, which is often one of the less visible components of stress states. Too many parallel threads of thought competing for processing space. Reading reduces that density by creating a single guided line of attention. That is not metaphorical, it is structural. And structure is often what nervous systems respond to more than meaning. There is also something understated about the predictability of written language in books. Once a sentence begins, it will end in a certain direction. Once a paragraph begins, it will resolve in a contained unit. This predictability creates a kind of safety for attention. Not emotional safety in an abstract sense, but cognitive safety in the sense that the system is not being asked to constantly re-evaluate direction. This is part of why reading often feels easier during stress than open-ended tasks. It does not require constant reorientation. There is already a path. Another aspect that matters is the absence of demand for immediate output. A lot of modern cognitive load comes from environments where attention is constantly being asked to respond, reply, react, decide, produce. Reading interrupts that cycle. It holds attention without requiring immediate return. That alone changes the quality of internal pressure. Bibliotherapy uses this understanding in a simple way. It does not try to turn reading into a technique. It observes what reading already does when it is engaged with slowly and without interruption. And then it pays attention to which kinds of texts are more effective in which states. Because not all reading is equal in this context. Dense, high-demand texts may not have the same regulatory effect as slower, more narrative-driven or rhythmically stable writing. Poetry, fiction with steady pacing, even essay forms that do not overload interpretation. These tend to function differently than high cognitive load material. Not better or worse, just different effect. The key point is not optimization, it is matching structure to state. Sometimes what is needed is not stimulation, it is reduction of input complexity. Reading provides that when chosen appropriately and when it is not forced into performance. There is a reason people often describe reading as something that helps them settle. Not because it solves anything, but because it reduces internal noise enough for the thought to become less fragmented. That is often the most accurate way to describe what is happening. Less noise, more continuity. And sometimes that is enough.